Hello, are we live? Hello, so we are live, right? So I'm just gonna check quickly. Yep. Hello guys, welcome back to another stream. So this is our day 4 of building projects. So this will be our day 4, and today we'll be building a Discord clone, right? If I wanted to show you how it will look like, right? I have the link source code provided into the description, but I'm going to show you how it will look like. So it will look something like this. So this will be a basic static HTML code, right? So this is what it will look like, right? It looks like Discord. It's like basically a Discord clone, and this is what we will be building in today's stream. So yeah, with that said, let's get started, shall we? So I'm gonna close this and close this entirely. I'm gonna put a, and here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop out chat because I cannot seem to see you guys. So I'm just gonna pop out the chat, right? Because it will make more sense if I just get you guys on the screen. So I have you guys on the screen. Now we can start the project. So this is a very long project, so it might take like 3 hours. We'll do slowly. We'll learn a lot of stuff. I will be learning a lot of stuff. Hopefully there are some new things. And that is pretty much it. So that is our agenda for today's stream, basically. Now, we have all of this, right? Now we need to have a couple of things. First, we should create 2 more files. We'll be creating style.css and also script.js, right? Very classic stuff. Let's link our style.css first in case we forget, like this. Now, I have a couple of things that we want to do in today's stream, right? One is I need to copy paste 2 more links. That is, one is for the thing, another thing is for Google. So if I just copy paste, I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm just gonna put your format. There we go. So this is for our style.css. This is for us to use the font awesome icons, right? Which basically is icon tag. And next, this is basically our font. We'll be using font called press start. So to use that font, I have to basically import that. And that is pretty much it for the head tag. We are pretty much done. Now, what I'm gonna do is hit go live. I seem to not have live server. So let's just quickly install that. So if you want to, I mean, apparently I don't have it, but if you want to launch your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code, you can just use live server. This is what we'll be using, unless you have any backend server. In our case, we will not be doing backend, so we'll be using live server. So after doing that, you'll have a go live button right here. Just click on that, and we are good to go, right? And that is pretty much it for the prep. Now, if we just do this, right? And here what we can do is, I'll do Alt Z, so it is wrapped. And we can start our project. So first thing we'll do is make a div. We'll make a div with a class of server rail. And also we'll also give an ID of server rail. And here what I'm going to do is give a class of server icon and also put the active by default, and give a title, right? Give it a title of pixel port, and also give a data, and I'm going to use data tip as a parameter. I'm going to use pixel port, right? This will basically be our dummy data. Now inside this, what I need to do is create a pip. So this will be empty data. We'll be filling it with JavaScript. And here we have a image. So I'm just gonna copy the image really quick. So this is the image. So this is what it will do. This will basically be our server icon, right? I'm in alt, I'm not gonna put anything because the image is getting displayed anyway, so it should be fine. So next is rail divider. So this will basically be our divider, right? This will also be empty. And we can just create a div called server icon again. So this will basically be a bunch of icons coming like going back and forth, right? So I can probably just copy paste this to save time. Let's create a title of speedrun channel. So this is basically dummy data provided by provided by the ChatGPT. I just ChatGPT'd and it was there. Okay, let's do .pip. And inside this, I'm going to create the icon tag. So by icon tag, what I meant by font awesome icons is this. I can basically use the font awesome icons like this, FA solid, FA stopwatch, right? Now, if I do this, you'll see a stopwatch icon appear right here. So that is what it does. And yeah. So now I can probably just copy paste a bunch of other because it basically has the same icon over and over and over, right? So I'm just gonna copy paste. So we have all of that data. So it's basically same data with different icons. That's pretty much it. So this one, another, and here, right? Next thing that we have is we're gonna create another divider here. So I'm just gonna copy that, paste our divider here. And we can add a rail. So this will be like in Discord, how you have like the plus icon, meaning add a server and then explore public servers, you know, because of that, we're basically adding that. So we'll just do dot rail divider, not rail divider. So we'll do rail add. And here I'm going to put a title saying add a server here. And inside this, what I need to do is just put a icon tag with a class of FA solid, FA plus. That gives me the plus icon. Now I can just copy and paste this, right? Copy and paste this and just cut that to explore public servers. And then I can just change that to compass. That is pretty much it for there. Now we can go ahead and style this. So let's go to our style.css. So we'll start by defining our CSS variables. Now, I'm just going to copy paste our CSS variables because the reason for that is these are basically our styles, right? You can define a CSS variable. I'm just going to tell you how to define. Normally, what we use CSS variables for is putting a value where you can just reuse the value, right? Also give the value a little meaning. So again, background, we can just do void. This is the variable name. Now we have to assign a value to that variable. Now in this case, we'll do a color. So wherever we put the value background void, it will basically replace that to this color right here, right? You have to do semicolon, and that is pretty much it. So we can just copy paste this bunch of colors palette that I have, which we'll be using later. So that is pretty much it. Now we can just start our normal styling. So we'll do margin 0, padding 0, box sizing, we'll set that to border box, right? We have this project is very CSS heavy. So yeah. So we'll use selection here and just put the background to be where neon pink dim, neon pink dim. There we go. And then we can just do color. I forgot semicolon here. There we go. I can just put, what else? Text hi. There we go. Now we have WebKit scroll bar. So in the scroll bar of our website, we can just style it using this. So we can just do width set to 10 pixels. Also do height set to 10 pixels. So we decrease the height of that, width and height of that. So do WebKit, we can just probably copy this, paste that here. Scroll bar, we can just do track, which is the actual thing. We can just set the background to that. We can put that to transparent. So that is all of our things. Now, next thing we have is the thumb of the scroll bar. So we can just do thumb and change the background to background raise to, and also do border radius 6 pixel. Right, also do border. So border will be 2 pixels solid panel. Now, one thing I forgot is panel. There we go. So that is for all of the things that we need to do. So this is thumb, by the way, not thumb. Right, and I can just copy paste this. So when you hover over this, we'll put a hover state. We will basically change only the background to be neon pink dim. So that is all of the things that we had to do for CETA, right? Next thing we can do is style the HTML and body. So here we'll just set the height to 100 pixels. Next thing we have is the body. So that was the common CSS property between HTML and body. We can set the background. We can set the background to be background/void, right? So that is how it will look like. Now, because of that, we need to change the color because our background and our text color both are white. So that kind of doesn't, doesn't look nice. So we'll do text high, right? And that will basically change it to that. Now, font family, we can use enter. Now to use enter, I don't think we have to do, but it's fine. So we'll just do fallback font. We'll put the sans serif. Then we'll do display flex. I'm gonna do height, set that to 100 VH, which is the total height. So from here and here, it depends on the screen size. Height VH basically generally means on top to bottom for one height of your user screen size, right? So hidden, it basically can change or differentiate according to the user's screen size. So which also gives a little bit edge in responsiveness. And here we have position. So position, it will be relative since it's the body, right? That is pretty much it. Here we'll put a before tag here saying content. I'm going to put to fix. And here we'll also put the position to be fixed. And we'll do inset to 0. Pointer events to none. And here we can also do z index, set that to 999. The reason why I do that is I wanted the body to be in absolute on top, right? Now background, I have a lot of stuff. Do repeating, so we'll do repeating linear gradient to bottom. to bottom, and we'll set the color. So we have the color, so we'll just do that. Give me a second, guys. So we have RGBA. We have set that to 255, 255, 255, and 0.018. Now I can just put that, give a value of 0 pixels. Now, give me a second. There we go. So we have 0 pixels. Now I can just copy paste this again, right? I can just do RGBA to 0 pixels. I can just copy, paste that there, change that to 1. Now we can do transparent to 1 pixels and transparent to 3 pixels. So this is how it will look like. And there we go. Right. I mean, the wrong thing. Oh, okay. And yeah. Next thing what we have is we can put a mix blend property here. All right, mix blend mode, we can just do overlay. And there we go. Now we'll put the after. So we have made the before, we'll put a after. And here what we can do is still put the content to be that. We can set the position to be fixed. And here we can just set the inset to be 0 and pointer events to be none, right? And we can probably copy paste the rest of this actually. We can set one less G index than that, and then we can create a background gradient. So here we can just say background, we can put a radial gradient of ellipse, right, at center. We'll just put transparent, set that to 60%, RGBA, set that to 0.45 at 100%. And that is pretty much it for the thing, right? So next thing that we have is a anchor tag. So we'll do color, we use inherit. And next we can do is set the text decoration to none. Next is button. So we can use button, do font family, set that to inherit as well. And just do cursor, set to pointer. Border, set that to none as well. Background, set that to none as well. And set the color to inherit, right? That is pretty much it. Now we have like dot pixel, right? So here in the thing, right? So we can probably just start to style it. So here what we can do is create a class called dot pixel, and set the font family to be press start to P, and fallback font can be monospace. And next dot mono, we can just set the font family to be JetBrains Mono, right? And just fallback font is mono. Now, finally, we can start styling our server rail. So we'll just server rail width, set that to 74 pixels. Flex shrink, we'll set that to 0 to make sure it doesn't shrink. Background, we can just set that to be our normal background. So we can just use, it's not listed here, so we'll just type it manually then. So 0A 09110, right? That is the background colors. We'll do display flex. Also do flex direction column to, because we are making a Discord server, and left hand side of the sidebar, we have our Discord server. So it's listed in column. That's why we're doing flex direction column. Align items, set that to center as well. Padding, set that to 14 pixels and 0. Also do a gap of 10 pixels. And overflow Y, I'm gonna set that to auto. And yeah, that is pretty much it. So we'll do border right. So 1 pixel solid. Oops, okay, so we'll do var border soft. There we go. So that is our sidebar. Now to style we have to style the server icon. So we'll do server icon. We'll just do width, set that to 48 pixels. Also do height, set that to 48 pixels as well. Also do border radius, set that to 16 pixels as well. Background, set that to what? We have the raise, right? We'll just use that. Next thing we have is display flex, align items, center, justify content to center. There we go. It is starting to come to like actual Discord styling, right? And then we can also do font size, set that to 20 pixels as well, a little bit bigger. Color, we can just do text mid. Position, set that to relative. And do transition, border radius 0.2 seconds at ease. What I can do is just do all here. So we'll just do that, right? And just do flex shrink 0. Next, we can just do server icon img. Or no, we have to style the icons first, actually. So we have all of that, right? So we can just probably put that. So next we can just we'll first style the icon image, and then we'll do the hover styling. How about that? And here we'll set the width to 100%. Same goes for height. We'll set that to 100%. Object fit set to cover. Also do border radius set to inherit. Okay. Next thing we have, give me a second, guys. So we'll do server icon to hover. So we'll hover and we'll do border radius, set that to 14 pixels. And we'll do background. Background, set that to neon. We'll use the pink neon. How about that? And there we go. And next is color, set that to white. And box shadow, we can just set to 0, 0, 0, 2 pixels. And of course, it doesn't work. I don't know why it doesn't work inside. Background set to void. Now what I have is I can just probably copy paste this, change that to 14, and change this to pink dim. There we go. That is the server icon, right? Now I'm gonna put a active state as well. So I can probably just copy paste this, I guess. Now this is not a hover state. We'll have a active state. By active state, I mean which server is currently active. So if we go here, as you can see, server icon, it has an active state. I say state because we have to hold that into from our JavaScript. So the element, HTML element has the active into their class list will be triggered from here. So it will have the same border icon and have the same thing here, color white. It will have the same thing, right? So I'm gonna probably change this to the border. Yeah, instead of putting a box shadow, what I can do is to transform. I can do translate -2 pixels. So here, there we go. I can also put cursor to pointer, but does that make sense? No, it doesn't. I don't remember Discord having that, you know? And yeah, that is pretty much it. So for the one that has active state will look something like that. If I change, if I give another server icon active, right, it will look something like this. And yeah, that is pretty much it that we have to do. Next thing we have to do is style all of this. So we'll do server icon and pip. Since pip is also a class, do that, and we'll set the position to be absolute. We'll do left -14 pixels. Also do top 50% and do transform. Translate, we'll just do -50% and do width 6 pixels. Also do height 22 pixels. Border radius, set that to 4 pixels. And next thing we have is background. So background, we'll just use text high. There we go. And then we'll just do opacity set to 0. And transition, what do we do here? So we have transfer, translate to that. -50%, and we have top 50%. So it will be something like this. We'll do transition. We'll transition only the opacity to ease and also height to the same thing. Now we will check if server icon will check if it is hover, if this is selected, and server icon is active, right? If it is, and also .pip. If all of these things meet the requirement, I need to make a comma here, right? We can just set the opacity to 1. So this is how it will look like. And there we go. So we have to style the plus icon too. So just do dot server dot icon, do active dot pip. Just do hide 28 pixels. Right. Now for the real divider, right? We have a class called real divider, which basically divides the servers onto different sections. Right? So as you can see, there's a division right here and right here as well. So that is the real divider. We'll need to give it a background color or like a background of border soft, and just give a border radius of 2 pixels and margin of 2 pixels and 0. Right? Uh, Actually, just do that, not 32 pixels, and there we go. Next thing we have is real add. So if we do that, give is 48 pixels, height we can give 48 pixels as well. And just do border radius 16 pixels. And then we can just give a background of radius as well. Display flex, align item center, line item center, justify content center. Also do color neon cyan. Do font size 18 pixels. And then transition, put that to 0.2 at ease. There we go. And that is pretty much it. That is our sidebar. Looks pretty nice, I think. Yeah, it looks dead on. Not dead on, but it looks pretty similar. So yeah, that is our thing, right? That is our sidebar for that. So next thing that we have to put is channel sidebar. So here, I'll go here. But I'm sorry guys, I'm eating. We'll do sidebar. Okay. We're good. We'll do channel sidebar since we'll be using this from JavaScript, right? Here, what we basically have is we need a server header, right? We need a server header. But before that, we can just probably just do that. So we can just do dot server header. On click, we can just do, we can call a toggle drop down. So we'll basically create a drop down here. And here we can just give it a title. And inside this, we'll use a span tag. And class, we'll do live dot. Just put pixel port. And there we go. So after this, we have a bunch of other things we can probably put, right? Let me just quickly go ahead and ready up that. Here, what else? we can put channel category, right? We can make a div here saying channel scroll, and inside this we can have a bunch of categories, right? We can make a category. Let's say the first one is announcement. You know, in Discord, like you have a bunch of text channels. This is basically that, okay? So this is the container that will wrap everything inside there. And it will also need to have an icon. So just do that, and FA solid FA caret down. That is what I'm going to be using. If we can probably see. That's fine. So in that category, there will be a bunch of categories, right? And then it will also need to have one on the right. So just do announcement. So I can tag here. And this will have a class of solid that is a given. Next, we can just do add plus and add ch. There we go. That is give me a plus icon. That is one category, right? One category we can make. I have a bunch of other categories that I can just probably just copy paste. So I'm just going to do that, right? So I have a bunch of category that I can just use. Okay. So I have the other categories right here. So I'm just going to, so we have channel item, each thing have their own thing. So we have category, and each category has their own channel. So we also have channel items, same thing, like, and then we have another category here. I'll basically give the thing, right? And each channel item also has their own thing. So basically it will be one category, and there will be a bunch of items for that. And then we'll also have another category, so like that, right? So next thing that we have, we probably need to put is hold up. So here we have bunch of this. So I'm just gonna copy paste that, and when I've directly paste this to this, right? So what this does is we have category items, right? And each have their item. So this will separate what? So here, the announcement is one category. In this, we have patch notes and schedule, right? And after that, another category starts, that's text channels, has a bunch of text channels. If you want the code to this, link will be in the video description. So it will just basically the same thing. And then we can have a bunch of people. In the voice channel, we can have a bunch of other, like it's basically simulating the people are inside the voice channel, right? That is pretty much it. So this is entirely onto the channel sidebar. So if we go here, we want to see where this sidebar ends. So we need channel sidebar. So let me just channel sidebar. We have all of that. And then we can just put the container inside everything, and it should be done. We have channel item. After the channel item starts, we have this. So we have a panel, and then we have a self panel. So now in Discord, in bottom left corner of a sidebar, you have your own You have your profile. That is what it is. So we'll call this self panel. Inside this we need a div for the profile picture. So we'll call it avatar wrap. Inside this we'll put a image tag. So I have the image tag with me right here. So I'm just going to copy the image. This will be my image. I'll look handsome. I know. I'm kidding. We'll do status dot, and there we go. That is the header, right? So next is who. So this will basically specify the name and all of the other stuff. So here we'll just do name. We'll probably call it God of Beast, or we can actually call, instead of my name, we can just call code. And how about that? And then we'll just do stat. Also put that to mono. And here I can just do level 42 arcade rank. And then we have the tools. So we'll do tools. Inside this, we'll have a bunch of buttons. So we'll do button. We'll give it a title of mute. So this will be mute button, and also to give a class. But instead of giving button a class, we can actually put a icon tag inside this and give that the thing. So we'll just do FA solid, FA microphone, right? All of that. We can just do. So next, I'm just gonna copy paste. It's the same icon. So this is for microphone. You know how your Discord has one button for mute and two more for deafening, and also for going to setting page, you have your gear icon. So that is basically what it is. So it is too big right now. So we're just gonna do that. And yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. So that is your volume icon, as you can see. Now going back to the main thing, let's go to CSS and let's style this now, right? So we'll just do style. So for styling this real ad, what we can do, that actually I forgot to put a hover for this. So we'll do hover, border radius set to 14 pixels, background, we can set to neon cyan, right? And yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying till now. If you are, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, guys. Don't forget. We can put that next to channel sidebar. So to style this sidebar for this, we'll just do width 220 pixels. We'll do fresh string 0. We'll do background. We'll do back panel. Put display to flex. Flex direction set to column. And then we'll set border right to 1 pixel solid. Instead of doing RGBA, we have variables, so we can just do border soft. So that is our styling for that. Now let's go for channel sidebar. Sorry, server header. We'll put a height of 56. We'll do display flex. Align items to center. Justify content to space between. Padding, set that to 0 and 16 pixels. And do border bottom do 1 pixel solid, border soft. Box shadow, we can just do 0, 1 pixel, 0. RGBA, we'll just do that. We'll do flex shrink. We'll also do flex shrink 0 for that. Cursor set to pointer. And yeah, that is the server header, right? Okay, so next thing that we have is server header hover. So we'll just do hover. We'll change the background to be raised. So next we'll just do server header. Server header dot title. Just do font weight, set that to 700. Font size, set that to 15 pixels. Do display flex. Align item center. And put the gap to 6 pixels. Server header dot title, also do live dot, and here we can just do width 8 pixels. We'll set the height to 8 pixels as well. Also do border radius 50%. We'll set the background neon pink. Hello, red flag. How are you, man? Welcome to the stream. How are you? Box shadow will do 0008 pixels and also do RGBA. Actually, we'll do pink, and that should be it. Next, we can just put a animation. So we'll just do pulse 1.6 seconds on infinite. Now we have to make keyframes for pulse. So let's go ahead and do that. So for pulse, it will be very simple. We have keyframes. So it will basically add in 0 and 100%, it will set to opacity to 1, and 50% opacity will be set to 0.35. Next, we can set the channel scroll. Right, I'm gonna set the flex to 1. Also do overflow Y add auto. Also do padding, set that to 12 pixels and 8 pixels. Channel, I'm gonna do category. We'll set this to be display flex. Align items set to be center. Also do gap 6 pixels as well. Color, text, low, right, which is the all for the categories. And then font size, I can just set that to be 11 pixels. Also do letter spacing, set that to 0.06 EM as well. So that is it. I want it to be capital, so there we go. Font weight, set that to be 700. Padding, set that to be 14 pixels, 8 pixels, 4 pixels. Cursor set to pointer. User select, user cannot select this, right? Now for hover, I'm just going to make the color to be text mid for category, right? It will just be highlighted a little bit more. For channel category, all right, for icons of that, I'll probably set the font size to be 9 pixels. And transition, I'm going to do transform 115s to ease. Next we have the category add. So this will basically be, by default, it will be opacity to 0. We'll set to opacity 0, but when you hover over it, we'll make sure to put that in. So right now, when you hover, I basically made the plus icon go, but if I hover over it, now you guys can see there's a plus icon appearing. That is what we're trying to do here. Okay, that is because of that. Now for channel items, right? Now for channel items, what we're gonna do is probably just do this. So we'll do display flex, align item center, gap 8 pixels, padding 7 pixels and 10 pixels, border radius 6 pixels, margin, color to text mid, font size to a little bit, decrease the font size a little bit, and font weight 500 and position to relative. So after that, everything here should be styled. Now, next thing that we have to do is put a hover state for this and set the background to be raised. There we go. There is now background, right? Give me a second. Okay. We'll set the color to text high. We need to wrap this inside a var container. There we go. Channel item dot active. So for active channel, we'll just do a different raise. We have raise 2, right? And text will still be the same thing. There we go. The general is active and it has a little bit more sharper color to it, right? Now I'll put a before state here, so we'll just do that. Now I'm basically putting this right here, as you can see. So that is what we're doing. So to do that, we're putting content to none. We're giving a width and height to it, right? That is what giving that container there. And we're setting a background and border radius for this. And then we're putting it to absolute. So that is the channel active. Now we can put a icon to that. So we can just do channel item I and also give the type icon to have font size of 14 pixels. Also give a width of 16 pixels as well. Also give text align set to center and do color text to low. So that is for all of the icons right there. Now for the badge, right? So I can just probably, there we go. So for badge, do dot badge, just give margin left to auto. Also give a background to neon pink. And also do color, set that to white. Also do font size 10 pixels and font weight 700. Also do padding 1 pixel and 6 pixels. Also do border radius, set that to 8 pixels as well. And font family, we can just do, we can use the JetBrains one that we used earlier. So now to use that, we can just do JetBrains. We can just copy that, come back here, and paste that there. Now for the lock, right, channel item, lock, I can do margin left, set that to auto, and font size. By the way, if you're wondering what this is, it basically is the lock and other stuff. If I go here, some of these have different classes, right? So we'll have some of have lock, so this is lock, right? We have badge, so basically the actual values, right? These badges right here. Just do margin auto. We'll set the background to be neon pink and also do color set to white. Font size set to 10 pixels as well. Font weight set that to 700. And here padding is same as 1 pixels and 6 pixels. And border radius is 8 pixels as well. And it has the same logo as that. Right. There we go. Actually decrease the font, increase the font size a little bit, and color, let's do text low, right? Yeah, that should be fine. Next thing we have is the voice user. So we'll do voice user, okay? Right? Mm. There we go. There it is. Now we have styled the thing. Also give it a color, the text actually. We're given gap, padding, and font size, right? Now let's style the image. The voice user image, we'll do width 20 pixels, height 20 pixels, border radius 50% to make it perfect circle, and object fit, I'm gonna set it to cover. Good, it looks like there are working, there we go. Now for the image, so voice user icon, right? They will have very basic, I will have font size 11 and the neon sign, there we go. That should be fine. So that almost looks like a Discord channel, at least the sidebar. We have made that much, right? How long has it been? It's been an hour. Okay, not bad. We'll do self panel. We'll put the height to 58 pixels. This was supposed to be a height. Next thing we have is flex string to be 0. Background, set that to be 100E18. Display flex, align items center, gap of 8 pixels, padding set to be 0 and 8 pixels. border top to be 1 pixel solid border soft. So it does look almost like that, right? Next thing we have is the self panel dot avatar. So this will have a very simple styling, a position relative and width and height of 34 pixels, right? Next is image. Now image also needs to have the same thing, but it will have the border radius set to 50% and object cover set to 50%. So it should be almost should be contained inside that, right? Next thing we have is the dot. So status, we have a panel, right? We can just do self panel dot status dot position set to absolute, and also do bottom -1, also do right -1, so do width 12 pixels, height 12 pixels as well. So do border radius, set that to 50%. Background, set that to neon cyan. And border, do 3 pixels, solid 100. And there we go. So that is the dot we're talking about. You see this dot right here? That is the dot we're talking about. Next thing we have is the self panel dot. Ooh, so we can just set the line height to be 1.15. Now for the text, right? Now for the text, which is the name and the thing, we'll just make it so that font size is 13.5 and font weight is that, right? Now for the actual stat, we'll put that inside there. So for the stat, which is the level 42 arcade that you see here, basically said put the text to low and font size to 11. Next is the tools. Tools are basically your these buttons right here, right? Which is the mute, deafen, and settings. So for the actual styling, we have put them something like this, right? Now next, what we can do is do self panel dot tools, and for individual button, we can set the width and height to be 30 pixels, border radius 6 pixels, also do color, text set to mid, and font size set to 15 pixels as well. Right, and next we can just put a hover effect. Hamis Beto, Hamis, how do you pronounce? Hamis Beto, welcome to the stream, man. How are you? Next we have self panel and hover button. We'll set that to background raised and high. So if we hover over it, you see there is that, but also I need to put a border radius. Yep, I messed up there. There we go. And yeah, that is pretty much it for the thing. So we have made this, right? It looks pretty nice. Now we have to have a styling for the main chat section right here. So we'll just do that. So we have the sidebar. So we'll just get over here, right? And yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. So there we go. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like button and subscribe again. Yeah, after this, here's the deal, guys. So I have to make the chat. So let's create a main here, right? Also give a chat header, change of name. So class we have is that style, give a color, give text below. Now it will not show up here because it's a completely different file, but once it renders, it should be there. Can you tell me which extension you're using to preview your code on live server? For that, we'll just search live server. Just the first one that pops up by Ritwik Day. There we go. And Aditya, welcome to the stream. So we have that, right? So we have to say that it's also general. So this is the header. Now this is header name, and next thing we have is the topic. So I have the topic right here. So just copy paste that. So this is the header with a CSS topic and bunch of dummy data. Next is we have actions dev. So we'll just do actions. Inside this, I'll have a search box. I'll have a icon tag with FA solid, and I want a magnifying glass. So we'll do magnifying glass. And there we go. So inside the actions, right, there will be a bunch of icons, right? Basically specifying what we have. So I'm just gonna copy paste to see how it look like. So we have a bunch of icons tag like this, right? Where did I make a mistake? Did I not close the button here? Okay. Right. So if I just, okay, I accidentally hit that. We'll see what's the issue here. Give me a second. So we have this, right? So it's saying is there an extra div here? Doesn't seem like it. I think so. Or I have some sort of unclosed tag. I just don't know which one. It doesn't tell me. So we have button. Oh, okay. There we go. Fixed it right here. And this seems to be not working as well. So let's go ahead and check that out too. So now it was our this. So the server, do pip. This div is inside there, like that. And there we go. There should be, okay, then now this is, all of these are consistent, right? And yeah, that should be it for the actual header. So I'm hoping everything is working now. There we go. So we have created the chat header. Next thing we have is the messages. So we'll basically create, also do scroll thin, give a class of that. Now we have a bunch of messages. First, let's say we'll separate this by the driver and just say this as yesterday. Just basically kind of I forgot hyphen here. Now this will have messages class. Inside this, it will be a avatar, right? Now avatar, it will have an img tag. Now I'm just going to copy paste the first avatar like this. And it will have a body call of meta. Let's give a meta class. And here I can just give the name and just role and the timestamps for when the message was posted, right? So what we're gonna do here is just give the author. So we'll just do author Nova byte. Let's say that's just a random name. We'll give it a tab of pink and then give a badge role, put this to host, and here give it a host class as well, give it timestamp and 8:41 p.m. So next thing we have is a text. So what I need to do is so I'm basically copy pasting the entire thing. So what I'm doing essentially is just putting sub, right? So we have all of this. I'm going to explain. So we were until here. So it was the meta. So basically the name and time for the text was actually, the chat was actually presented, right? Next is actual text, what the user typed. Next, we have an image for basically user also sent in a message in the chat. And next we have the actual image right here, which is the name of the image, right? And the reaction. So let's say when you know how in Discord you can react to messages. So basically that, right? Now I'm gonna create a follow-up message. Here, I'm just gonna create a follow-up message. So here, after this message right here, so I'm just going to put that there. I'm going to put this, right? I'm going to put a follow-up message, basically the time and the text. That's it. We have another message after this, right? So we have another message here. So this is the same concept. We have the actual text. So the user actually only sent the text, and then we also said the who actually sent the message. So in this case, it just filled out there. After this message, we have another message, right? So we're just pulling out dummy data, nothing fancy here. So it's basically the same thing. There's the user data, there's the actual pin. So there's also a pin in the text to put a mention. We'll basically use the mention class to put there. And then we can also use the title of description and all of that, right? And then we can just probably style this at this point. We can just go ahead and style this. So we have all of that. Let's go ahead and style this image or style this layout. So we were at self pin button. So we'll just style the main first. So we'll just do main, set the flex to be 1. Also do display set to be flex. And here we'll do flex direction set to column. So do min width set to 0. Also set the background to be void. And background image will just make it whatever. So that we should be fine, right? We'll put radial gradient. Do 55, 46, 99, 0.06. We'll also put that to be transparent at 45 degrees. That is one. We have another. This one was for top left. So we have another to bottom right, right? With almost a different color and the same transparency. So there is a radial gradient right here, as you can see. Next we have is the chat header, basically the general chat header right here. We'll do header and just do height. Height, set that to be 56 pixels. Also do flex, set that to flex shrink, and display flex. And align item set to center, and gap set to 12 pixels as well. And padding set to 0 and 18 pixels. And border bottom set to 1 pixel solid border soft. We'll do background. So the background to be 23, 19, 32, and 0.6. Now we'll just do backdrop filter to blur 6 pixels as well. Chat header, next is ch name. Now for the header, there we go. I misspelled the name for some reason. For name, what we can do, and just give font weight 700, font size 15.5, display that, and there we go. Display center, line item center, and yeah. And for topic, right? And for topic, what we have is we can just do chat header and chat topic. For chat topic, what we can do, just give this. So here we have done is give color to text low, right? Font size 13, padding 12, margin left 4 pixels, border left 1 pixels, white space no wrap, overflow hidden, and text overflow set to ellipse. So that is for the thing. So now for the action, which is all of this, we'll call all of that action, do chat header and dot action. So just do that. So for this, we have given margin left auto, display to flex, and line item center, gap to be 18 pixels, and font size 17. So look something like this, which looks pretty nice. So that is for the header to be done, right? So we have that. Now, for the search box right here, so what we can do for search box is make it a flex center. So we can do dot chat header search box and just do display flex, align item set to center, gap to 6 pixels as well, background set to 0, 0F0D16. So that is the color that we'll be using. And do border radius set to 6 pixels. Also do padding. Also do padding set to 5 pixels and 8 pixels as well. And then give font size of 13 pixels. And here set the color to be text low. And then just give width of 150 pixels. So that is the search bar, right? Looks pretty okay. Now for the most important part, that is messages. So we'll do for the messages container. For the messages container, we'll just put the flex to be 1. And overflow Y, I'm gonna set to auto. And do padding, we'll set that 18 pixels, 0, 18 pixels as well. So that is all of it for the container. Now I have to style the individual messages, right? Now for day divider, which is it was yesterday, we'll put another message we're calling like today, right? So for day divider, this will be the code. So it will basically make the thing flex, align item center, and then gap 12 pixels, color, font size, all of that. So if I go here now, right? I search the, okay, I typed driver. Okay, So this is how it look like, as you can see. It says yesterday, right? This is the day divider. So we have that, so we can just put it like that. Next thing we have is the before and after state for the day divider. So we'll just do before and day divider after. But for the syntax for that is the double colon. And inside this, we'll just put a content of empty. Also do flex1, also do height, set that to 1 pixels, and we'll just do background to border soft. And there we go. Giving it width and height does make it like this. So this is before yesterday and after yesterday. So basically put a small height of this 1 pixel, so it kind of behaves like a line, because container, if you put a 1 pixel line, it behaves like a line, right? And flex1 basically sets the flex grow parameter to 1. That basically means to take the entire space for itself. I hope you got that. Next thing we have is message. Now for that, we'll just do display flex. We have 16 pixels. Trying to be 2 pixels. 2 pixels. Position set to be relative. I know. Next we have is message hover. Background is set to 255, 255, 255, and 0.05. Just like that. Now for the avatar, so message avatar, we'll just set the width to be 40 pixels. Height to be 40 pixels as well. And border radius, we'll set that to be 50%. Object fit, we'll set that to be cover. And margin top, we'll do 4 pixels, and flex shrink will do 0. Now we have to check why is not it working. So if we go to tools, do MSG, so let's do avatar. Don't need to give that thing, it's fine. Fix it in a bit. Just to body column. So here we'll just put the flex to be 1 and min width set to 0 and padding set to 6 pixels and 0. Right? Now next thing what we have display flex. Margin bottom set to 2 pixels. Flex wrap set to wrap. Right? Not wraps, wrap. Let's do the author now. Do author. Font weight, set that to 700. Also do font size, set to 15 pixels as well. MSG dot author and dot tag pink. We can just do color, set that to neon pink as well. So I have a bunch of tag, but depending on what tag it is. So I have cyan and things. So right here, the problem arises when it is not. So there is something wrong in HTML, right? And now let's quickly just do this, right? I think I messed up the style here. So go to main. Okay, I see another issue here that is hashtag, but that is not a hard issue. So the thing that happened is I nested somewhere that I cannot tell where. But I did do it. Oh, okay, that makes sense. It should be right over here. Did that fix it? Kinda, almost did. Do image class. We have avatar, right? We don't need a div at all. Here we can just give this a class of avatar. Okay, that fixed it. Where's chat? Wait. There we go. Now, next thing that we have here is the badge rule, right? So we'll just do message dot badge role. So for that, we'll just do font size 9.5 pixels. Also do font weight set to 700. Padding set to 1 pixels and 6 pixels. Also do border radius set to 4 pixels. Also do letter spacing. I'll do 0.0 em, not that. And there we go. The styling for that is already done. We still have to do for the image, I guess. So we'll just do badge role host. Badge role, we'll just do badge role dot host. So for host, we'll change the background to be neon pink dim, right? And then we can change the color to be var neon pink. And then we can change the border to be 1 pixel solid neon pink as well. So that is how we'll do it. It looks pretty nice. Now I also have for the mod a similar thing. So I'm just gonna copy paste and there we go. It just basically has a different value for the mod, right? So one thing I forgot to style is the scroll, or the scroll thing, right? Next we have is the timestamp. So timestamp will be very simple. Timestamp basically means when was the text text put out. So timestamp will be very simple. Font size will decrease the font size. Color will be text low, and the font family will be JetBrains Mono. Next thing we have is the message text. So for the text messages, we'll basically use very simple styling as well. So we'll basically put font size, put that to there, and line height set to that, and color to that color, right? Well, text basically means these text right here, the user chat messages. And now we have to strictly change the styling for mentions, right? If there is a mention, we have to style that. We have to do that. So do now. Give me a second, guys. Let me drink some water. Um, Next thing we have is, what do we have? Is the image for the thing. So we'll just do image will be very simple. It will just be, okay, I copy pasted the wrong thing. We'll do message image. We'll do margin top, set that to 8 pixels. Also do border radius set to 10 pixels. Overflow to hidden. Max width to 420 pixels. So do border to 1 pixel, solid, border soft, and then position set to relative. There we go. So that is the picture, right? So next we have to style the actual image. So we'll do message, image, img. We'll set the width to 100%. The display, set that to block as well. Now we need to style the caption as well. Now that caption is class. So we'll do position set that to absolute. We'll do bottom 0. Set to left to 0. We'll do left to 0. We'll do padding, set that to 8 pixels and 10 pixels as well. We'll do font size, set to 11 pixels. And just do background. We'll do linear gradient to top. RGBA will set the value to be something around here. And we'll just do transparent. And yeah, that is pretty much it for the caption, right? Now for the message aimed, so we'll just, for embedded like this, we'll just put a width and height of max of width and height of that. We have border left of 4 pixels, solid, neon cyan, background of rays, border radius, and padding. So it looks something like this. So if I comment that out, save it, right? This is what it does. There we go. So, and that also is the pen right here. The pen looks something like this. And yeah, that is pretty much it, right? For that. So next is title. So we'll just do message embedded dot e title. Do font weight set to 700. Font size set to 14 pixels. Color, do neon cyan. So do margin bottom set to 4 pixels as well. So that is pretty much it. Next is we have the description. So we'll do that and e dot description. Font size we'll do 13 pixels. We'll put the color to be text mid, and we'll put the line height to be 1.4. So last is the footer, right? So we'll just footer. We'll not do something else. We'll just, for footer, we'll do margin top to be 8 pixels, display flex, line item center, and just basically do that, right? Next is the reaction. So reaction will be just something like this. So it'll just be a flex container and all of that. Now per reaction, what I can do is do display set to flex, align item set to center, gap set to 5 pixels, also do background set to raised as well, right? And do border set to 1 pixel, solid, soft, like that. We'll do border radius set to 10 pixels. And then we have padding set to 2 pixels and 8 pixels as well. Also give a font size, decrease the font size a little bit. And color set to mid. And then we have transition, 0.2 seconds at ease. Now to make the reaction, so we'll put a reaction dot mine. So we have a reaction dot mine where like it will say when you click on this, we'll basically put a state for the thing. So I just have the style copied right here. So this is it. So this, when you react to something, it will look something like that. That's basically the styling for that, right? Next thing we have is the reaction hover. So when you hover, when to border color, change to neon cyan. Also do color to neon cyan as well. Neon cyan as well, and cursor set to pointer. So we'll do something like this, and there we go. Right. So follow-up message to style that. We'll just do style that to that. Padding left to 0, and also set the visibility to hidden, right? of that. There we go. There is a message. I'm just gonna cut that. Let's do 8:44. Just gonna close that. Right. Actually, we need to style this actually. So here we have the hover time. So for the hover time, right, you can just style it something like this. So we'll do make sure that I have do follow up and do hover time and set that to mono. And there we go. Right. Next thing we have is the hover. So when you hover over it, we'll just make it the date come out, just like that, right? And yeah, next is the type indicator. So we have to first make that, right? So let's go ahead and go to, after the message scroll, right? Now if I go somewhere here, do message scroll. After this, I'm just going to create typing indicator. So this basically will trigger every time someone is typing. So this will be a dummy type indicator that we'll be building here, right? So we have built up until here. So we will stream for 2 hours and let's get them done and get this done, right? So right. So here, and then if we have leftover, we'll do it in the next part. We're leaving it a little bit too much. Now, let's just build a type indicator and call it a day. Here we have typing dots. The dots will be a bunch of spam tags. So this basically will be spam, right? So let's put like 3 spam tags, like right after another. And then we'll put another span here. Will basically be the text, say is typing, just like that. And here we'll just give a class of color, not color. We'll give a style, color of var. Just do text, set that to mid, right? So that is the wrapper. And then we have this. So we'll just do typing indicator. We'll just put the padding to be around 4 pixels, 22 pixels, and 12 pixels. We'll do font size, set that to 12.5 pixels. Also do colors, set that to text low as well. Just do display flex and align item set to center and gap of 8 pixels. Now we can style the typing dots, right? We'll do display flex and we'll do gap of 3 pixels. Now to create the dots, we'll style all the span tag with we'll give the span tag width and height. And border radius 50%. Also do background set to neon cyan. Also do animation. So this will be a bounce animation that we'll be making. So it'll be bounce 1 second, infinite, right? So we'll be giving an animation delay of the bounce. So the way that we'll make this is we'll be giving the animation delay for uh, each dot. So the first dot will bounce, and then after a few seconds or like after a couple milliseconds, another ball will bounce. It will basically be like that. You'll see what I'm talking about right here. So we'll be typing dots. First we'll do select the nth child, we'll select the second child. I'll give an animation delay. We'll give a animation delay of 0.15 seconds. So the animation for this will trigger 0.15 second later than the first dot, right? Same for this one. Let's increase it by 0.15 again, so making that a 3. Now let's make the bounce keyframe, right? So we'll just do keyframes for bounce. Do 0%, 60%, and then 100%. We'll just do transform, translate to Y, put that to 0. Opacity, set that to 0.4, right, initially. And at 30%, we can just transform that into translate. We'll translate that to negative 5 pixels. And also set the opacity to 1. So as you can see, there is a typing animation, right? Next is composer wrap. So we'll just do wrap. We'll give the padding to be 0, 22 pixels, and 22 pixels as well. And then we'll do flex shrink to 0. And yeah, that is pretty much it for the thing, right? Next thing we have is to make that composer. So we'll just do composer wrap. Inside this, we'll basically make the composer div. This will have a icon of circle plus. So we'll just do circle plus. So there we go. And I'll give it another class of add button to style it from the CSS. It will also have a title of upload a file, right? And next we'll make a input field. So here input field will have ID of input message, type text, placeholder, type message in general, and we'll have a handle send event in case if there is an event, we'll just put it there, right? So every time there is a key press, we'll basically do that. So every time we type something, we can just say someone is typing, right? Next thing we have is the group. So there will be a bunch of This will be a icon group, which basically will have a bunch of icon group. Inside will have a bunch of icons like gift, smile, and microphone. It's basically all the normal Discord does have, right? And yeah, after that, we should be done. We can just go to here. We'll do dot composer. We'll change the background to be background raised and border radius to be 12 pixels. Display flex, line items center, also do gap of 10 pixels. Padding to be around the same thing, right? Give me a second, guys. And now we have to create a focus. We'll just create that, right? And use a add button. So for add button, we'll basically do this. For input, we'll basically use the normal input styling. We'll just make sure that it takes the entire place for itself. So we'll do input field to that. So if you full screen it, we'll take the entire place for itself, right? Here we have background none, border none, outline none, color takes to that. And then we also have enter onto that. Now for the placeholder, I want to make sure the placeholder a little low, a little less dark. So we'll just put it there. Next thing we have is the icon group on the right here. And to style that, it's very simple. Display flex gap 14, text mid, and font size 19. So there we go. Next, we have the icon group. And lastly, for the hover, right now, if you hover, nothing happens. Now we'll make it so when you hover, the color changes and the cursor sets to pointer, just like there. So for now, that is our thing, right? And yeah, that is pretty much it, right? So here we have typing indicator. I misspelled that to there. And yeah, now the spacing is fine. So that is it for the styling, right? And next thing that we have on the list is our member sidebar. So for now, we are just going to do on here. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in another stream where I'll continue this from here. Right now, it's been really late, and yeah, I'll see you guys in another stream. Till then, bye bye.